everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining today. And thank you to Edvin for joining us today from Smart Pots. I'm happy that you're here, Edvin.
Happy to be here, Carrie.
Yes, my name is Carrie. My husband Dale and I are the creators of Park Seeds app from Seed to Spoon. Here, I always forget to pop it up. So this QR code right here, if you don't already have our app, make sure you check it out. It'll help walk you through growing over 150 different fruits, vegetables, herbs, everything. Like it is the app that we wished that we had whenever we started gardening and learning how to do everything. We started gardening a little over 10 years ago and had just like a traditional like Oklahoma backyard here. And we transformed it over a couple years to a whole bunch of fruit, vegetables, herbs, flowers, all of that. And yeah, you could say we got a little obsessed with gardening, but we learned a lot along the way and developed the app that we wished that we would have had. And that hopefully you all know and love today. If you don't already have it, make sure you scan the download. But like I said, it'll walk you through growing. It'll give you exact planting dates based on your location. So you don't have to do math anymore, which is awesome for me because that is like one of my least favorite things is just thinking about, okay, how many weeks until my first fall frost is it? And when can I plant this? It takes the guesswork out of all of that. And it just tells you, hey, it's time to go plant now. So I love it. And plus, it has like the visual garden layouts. So I can know where everything is to keep track of everything when I last fertilized, all of that. Also, you can take pictures too and send it up to Growbot, which is one of my favorite things. Take a picture, be like, what is this plant? Or what's this pest? Or what is going wrong with my plant? So all of that. Let's see. I'm sorry. I forgot. I always get distracted talking and then I'm like, I need to go to chat and say hi to all of you guys. So hi everybody. See, we got somebody from both corners right now, both sides of the coast.
Donna Plant from Dayton, Ohio. She's zone 6.
Oh, yep. Yep. And then North Texas. Yeah, we got somewhere for everywhere. So Edvin and I are both here in Zone 7 in Oklahoma. So that's actually a fun story. So we, whenever my husband and I started gardening, we heard about these smart pots and ways to do container gardening. And whenever we first started container gardening, it's like we were using like the plastic pots and things like that. And I was like, this is so difficult to keep these plants alive. And then we heard about smart pots and we were like, there is no way that smart pots are going to be better than these other containers that we've been failing with. And we were very suspicious of them when we first started. But yeah, I have to say, we were very pleasantly surprised with how incredible the plants do in them and how different it is from regular plastic containers. So yes, I'm a huge fan of them.
Thank you, Carrie. Yeah. No, I mean, like one of the biggest things, I mean, I just glanced over at the thermometer and we're at 99 degrees right now and it's like just hit noon. And I think we have like an extreme heat warning, which looking it's going to
Yeah.
get up to like 106. One of like the biggest things that has come up like in research when studies are being done with smart pots, Carrie, is actually the temperature control. So like just a very, very quick synopsis of a study from the University of New Hampshire. The greenhouse that was in was controlled 80-degree temperature. There was a black smart pot and a black plastic. When they tested the temperature of that black plastic, it was actually above 100 degrees, so over 20 degrees hotter than what the air was inside that greenhouse. The smart pot was actually ambient, so it was right around 80 degrees, which meant that plant was actually still growing as opposed to that black plastic was just I mean, it was stagnant,
Yeah.
just sitting there.
Because
Um,
it can breathe through the side. Is that the main difference?
Yeah, so the breathability on the smart pots, there's literally a millions of holes. You can see like one right behind me. And it's just the right amount of mixture, right amount of air and water that can move within the fabric. That's just perfect for the plants. Smart pots, as you know, they're designed for growing plants. Our fabric is not any recycled material, so it's not something you would find like to make on a t-shirt. Are we've been using the same exact materials we have back in the 80s. They're meant for growing roots, tree roots specifically. So like our tomato plants will do just as amazing and will do no harm to smart pots as well.
Yeah. And I do have to say, like the smart pots that we do have some original smart pots that we started with. And I mean, gosh, they're almost like 10 years old now at this point, which is incredible.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean,
that's
just like wash them off, at the end of the season. And yeah, they're
Yeah, I
awesome.
think that's one of like our biggest problems actually. Like whenever we go to trade shows, and we're trying to, sell smart pots to more people,
Like, I already
every
have
single show, yeah, every single show we get somebody says, "Hey, I'm on my 8th season using the same smart pot, I just like you said, wash it off and fold it up and bring it out during the season." And it's like we love that, but maybe how about buy a brand new one, you need a 2026 model,
them.
which they're exactly all the same. In case anybody was wondering, our smart pots that we've been making, back from the 80s to today. That's the same exact fabric, same methods, made in the same state in Oklahoma City. So they're the exact same. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Um, let's see. Really quick before I get too far, I always forget to mention, and I'm going to pop this up too. There. So make sure that you guys that are joining us right now are commenting in the chat. And if you're watching after the fact too, still pop in chat, say hi, because every time you comment, you get entered into win. And I do a giveaway at the end of this live stream to one of you that's here live. And then I also do one after the fact too. So don't worry if you were late to join us or anything like that. I'm going to be doing an after the fact giveaway. And I do have a winner from last week. Before I forget, I needed to say this. I was like, oh no, I haven't done that yet. So this person commented on last week's. So congratulations to the Casey. So send me an email here at info@seedtospoon.net and I will get you hooked up with your free goodies. But last week we talked like common August problems, like brainstorming what's going on. So if you all missed it, like make sure you check it out. It's a good one. But yeah, I do these every week. So, and we're always doing giveaways and stuff. So always make sure you pop in here and say hi. Okay. And then let's see. I've seen several questions already. I know
Yes, I was looking at the chat. It's
I
rolling.
feel like we already are just like hopping in here to talk all about it. Oh, did I say what they're winning? I don't think I even told you. I'm just like jumping right into I'm just excited to talk containers, as you guys are. I know I've seen several comments with it. So, but here, let me go back really quick. So the giveaway is for a free 1-year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription. So there's a whole bunch of amazing free features that are in the Seed to Spoon app. But with premium, you get even more. So you get to have unlimited pictures that you can send up to Growbot for plant pest identification, unlimited gardens and plants you can log in the visual layout. Plus, yearly gets free shipping on all of their orders through Park Seed. Like every single order through Park Seed that you place, free shipping. Like that's
That's
huge.
probably like the best thing to get, especially, I've already seen people already shopping for, the holiday season. So if you have any gifts in mind, any gardeners, that free shipping and especially stuff starts to run out once we start to get to that. I mean, all the high sought out varieties start to run out. So if you have any ideas, just get that out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we'll be doing a giveaway of a smart pot too.
Yes, I'm actually going to give away a 3-pack of vegetable planters. So it's going to be three 15 gallons. It's the size that's most popular. We always love recommending it during shows. So for example, if I try to show, I know it's not going to work. Oh, you can kind of see it. So in a 15 gallon, you can do like one patio sized tomato along with like a marigold and like your
Wow.
favorite type of herb, like a basil, companion planted. Carrie and Dale always love to talk about companion planting and how they can benefit your garden. So marigold tomato is probably like one of my first that I've ever learned. So you can do it all in one 15-gallon, or you can do one giant size like a Parks Whopper tomato. You'll get a massive tomato all in one. So somebody's gonna get a 3-pack of that along with that free premium. So once you get that, you can also pick your seeds and you'll be good to grow.
Yeah. Good to grow. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so this is an amazing giveaway. So you guys better be commenting in to win. Okay, I saw lots and lots of questions already. Let me pop this one up really quick. So, advantages to using cloth versus plastic containers. So, first of all, I do want to say, like, containers are amazing, especially like our topic today says, for busy gardeners and people who don't have a lot of time, or don't have a lot of area to garden in, or only have concrete outside or a deck or something along those lines. um, Containers are amazing to be able to do that. And I will say, first of all, this image that I have right here gives my first number one advantage to using cloth versus plastic containers. So this is one of my pictures that I've taken. It is so helpful to be able to just pop some of these into something like a kiddie pool and add some water to the bottom of it and walk away. I don't have to stand there and water each and every individual one. I can just do this and I can like go out of town for the weekend or something too, and this is what I would do like when we were going like camping or something for the weekend. I would just pop all of my little smart pots into a kiddie pool, add some water, I'm good to go. Because all of them, it will just soak up the water from below and water the entire plant. So,
Yeah, I mean this is a great idea. This is something that like I've just by working with smart pots, I've learned that um, in California, a lot of the growers, this is what actually they would do. They would actually take super large smart pots, and if they're gonna go away for a while, they would stick them in kiddie pools. And believe it or not, it's like your plants are not sitting soaked in the water. Just the right amount gets uptaken and upwicked. So this is just a great idea if you need to leave for the weekend. Just pop your smart pots right in there. And I did see a lot of some questions asking about like the mix, and somebody said that they had spent the weekend making Mel's mix, which is amazing. Dale and Carrie are big, they always talk about the Mel's mix. It's actually probably a lot better than any bags mix you can find locally. The biggest thing with this, I'm sure you used a lot of compost. Is that true, Carrie?
yes, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did see this question pop up too, and I had it. That's why I was like, I had it pinned. I went up and found it. Yeah, I would definitely make sure. I love Mel's Mix. It is so easy to do, and it is perfect for smart pots. But Mel's Mix is essentially just equal amounts of vermiculite, which is like that white, like rock material that you see in there, and then coconut coir, and then 1/3 of compost. Um, so Mel's Mix comes from the Square Foot Gardening book. I actually talked to them about Mel's Mix before, and they were saying like even for things like you in oh my goodness, I can't talk today. um, if I'm going to be using Mel's Mix for things like smart pots, they said you could actually back off using quite as much vermiculite and put in more compost.
Yeah.
Just because like smart pots work really well for aerating. They're not like traditional pots. And they said like we can just up compost on it as well. So you don't necessarily have to add quite that much vermiculite because that's probably the most expensive ingredient out of Mel's Mix. So yeah, but compost is the most important thing I will say in that mix.
Yeah, for some of the people on here, I see if you're having troubles with like you're saying, you're having trouble too much water needed for your smart pots, definitely add some compost. And even if you're somebody who has to buy like bagged compost, or I'm sorry, bagged soil, a lot of soil mixes do state that they have the compost, but the compost I feel like is kind of the first thing to die off. All of those beneficial bacteria are the kind of the first things to die off, and that's just how soil is transported. It just takes a long time to get there when it's bagged, and then by the time you put it into your soil. So if you can, try to find a good source of compost. Adding compost to your soil is never bad, and it kind of helps with that retention. Smart pots, we actually send good amount of smart pots to Kuwait, which actually has like a desert like environment. And they actually cannot grow a lot of stuff like their vegetables if they're not in smart pots. Just it just gets too hot. Now they also do a lot of shade cloth. But for you guys who are saying, you just having trouble, definitely try to soil is the number one thing. With or without like any container, the soil composition is really important.
So I will say, so I actually asked the Square Foot Gardening, I asked them, so it's sometimes hard to find vermiculite. If I can't find vermiculite, what do I do? And they said, honestly, just do then 1/3 coconut coir and 2/3 of compost. So if you cannot like truly find vermiculite, you can try that too. But I will say there's a lot of online sources that you can get vermiculite from. I mean, including Walmart um, and Amazon. I think Amazon was quite a bit more expensive than Walmart though, because I was having trouble finding it locally. Because typically I get it from a local nursery, but everywhere was out. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I actually discovered that Walmart had a source. It's just the online Walmart.com, and I was like, okay. And it
Yeah,
was the same price I was getting locally. So, and they shipped it to my door. So.
believe it or not, I mean, vermiculite is just like it's a component of what we grow on. Like it's like a fertilizer, and it is like a commodity. So if you see a lot of things that are happening around the world, vermiculite, I'm pretty sure the Ukraine is a really big source of where we get some of these inputs. So the prices can change, just based on what's going on in the world. But yeah, vermiculite is interchangeable with perlite, although vermiculite is the better form.
I
Um,
will argue with you on that.
that it is, which point?
That it is not equal.
No,
Uh,
it's not. I'm saying it's not. Is definitely not equal. But if you cannot find that and you need to add that, perlite, it's the white stuff that's in like a lot of like the
like
potting soil
styrofoam.
mixes, and then when you add water to it and it all floats to the top, that's that cheap perlite. So that's the difference between perlite and vermiculite. Is a perlite will just go to the top pretty much almost always. The vermiculite's a little bit heavier, and it
It will
stays
make it like
within your
it
soil.
will expand and take in the water and then like slowly release the water. So it's actually like super helpful like in drought times or and also like just retaining water in your soil. Perlite's more just it takes up space in the soil. So it won't help with watering or anything like that. So I mean, there's a reason why it's a lot cheaper. I am not a fan. Um, yeah, I asked Square Foot Gardening about perlite too. I was like, can we substitute vermiculite for perlite? And they're like, no. They're like,
Yeah.
do not do it. Like, but I know a lot of people do it, but I mean, it definitely like takes up space in the soil, and I mean, it's a good replacement sometimes, but yeah, I'm not a fan. I always feel like I'm putting styrofoam in my soil whenever I do it.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel. It's kind of the same, that's really what it feels like sometimes. I
Yeah,
feel like some soils, it's like, is this really styrofoam?
that's what it feels like to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like soil really is the most important part of growing. And if you like, honestly, if you can just invest like a little bit into the soil, you will be good. Like, and vermiculite won't go anywhere. Like, it'll stay there. So, like, it's a really good investment to actually get it or get a good high quality mix that has vermiculite in it. It works really well.
Yeah, one of the just quick little comment that I thought was cool from like that firm. She said the kiddie pools are best if you're watering and keep your nutrients. Quick
Yeah.
little fact on Smart Pot, that just another amazing research that came out of University of Florida is actually in Florida, all the nurseries have to actually test their runoff water whenever they water. Because their water is just something that they is just a big resource to them. So nurseries generally have to keep any runoff water from their nurseries have to go to a holding tank and they have to treat it, make sure it's their fertilizers are below levels, and then they can release it back to the aquifer. When they actually tested the runoff water from a smart pot, they actually found that the levels were actually below the EPA recommendations. Would actually they concluded that the smart pot was actually keeping all the fertilizers within the soil. So any fertilizers that you actually do put in the smart pot will actually be uptaking by your plant, which was something really, really, really cool to us because there was a lot of misconception that people were saying, "Oh, a fabric, you're just gonna put the fertilizer, it's just gonna run off." Well, they actually concluded that no, it actually works like this filter, and it actually works to actually keep your fertilizers in there. Something we thought was pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, that is great. That is great to hear. And yeah, I will say too, you don't necessarily even have to use a whole bunch of fertilizer if you use great compost.
Yes.
Yeah, Harry Warp is saying Mel's book says to use 5 different types of compost. So yes, that's true. As many different types of compost that you can get is great. I go to a local place, and I'm sorry, I know you're in California, but I go to a local place here in Oklahoma called Minick Materials, and they have several different types of compost. So whenever I go, I'm like, I want a little bit of everything, please. And that's really what I do. They locally source, like they have one that's called Zoo Poo, which is my favorite. That's sourced from, I mean, how many countless animals from the zoo poo. And then they have like a dark forest, like so it's like they have a bunch of different types there. I am a huge fan of going somewhere local instead of going and getting like a bag of compost just because it's usually not going to be super high quality. It's been sitting on the, who knows how long in the big
Yeah,
box
it's
store.
kind of like I don't know. I feel like it's like a race against time with like bagged materials. A lot of the material that like soil that gets made literally either gets made on the far east coast or on the far west coast. And like us, like in Oklahoma, it just takes so long to get here. And like Carrie said, they're sitting outside. If it get rains once, all those little microbes are just dying off in the bag, and it just gets so hot in there. Like Carrie said, local is better. If you have trouble finding a local place, I always love to recommend to go look up a local ag extension, so agricultural extension. They'll always have a source for compost. And Harry, my favorite is mushroom compost. It's generally I found the most expensive, but at the same time, I feel like mushroom compost needs something to feed off of. So you kind of like here, like you said, have all the different types of compost so they can all kind of feed off each other, and you can have a thriving soil. So
Oh, hey, this is a great call out here. Um, yeah, so smart pots and grow bags are not all they are not all built the same. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. And yes, that's such a common misconception from people is they get like a cheap grow bag off of like Amazon or something and they're like, "Oh, this doesn't work at all." And I'm like, "Did you get actual smart pots? Like the smart pots are like you need that."
yeah, I mean we get into it. I mean, like we just got back from a trade show in Texas, and I mean we get into it. I mean every single show, and I almost feel like I get tired of talking about it. And I just thought of a cool idea is, I mean, right where I'm at. I mean, I'm coming live from you guys from our Oklahoma City headquarters. So right below me is actually our manufacturing plant. So we have around 30 employees who are sewing up bags. We do make from a 1 gallon to 1,000 gallon. And we also own 9 US patents on various of our designs. Our fabric is the only fabric that is certified lead and BPA free, from any grow bags that you find on Amazon. We are literally the only ones made in the United States. Everything we know for a fact is manufactured in overseas. 99% of the time in China using recycled materials. So our bags, like Carrie has said, I mean, she's on her 8th, 9th, 10th year. Our bags are designed to grow trees. Our founder, Ralph Rieger, was a small-time tree farmer in Guthrie, Oklahoma, and he thought about this idea to grow in fabrics and did a ton of research in it. So yes, not all grow bags are smart pots. Smart pots are, like I said, made here in the U.S. And Carrie, I think it'd be cool. Maybe one day we just actually go live from the factory floor down there. I
I
think I
was
could walk.
thinking the same thing as you were
Yeah,
talking about that. I was like, we should really like go and like tour smart pots and show behind the scenes of how they're made.
yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah, I think we should definitely do that. I would love to show you guys our warehouse as well. You know, we ship worldwide from here. If you guys have ever ordered a smart pot, from our website, they actually are made here. If you order from Park Seed, they get shipped from here, and then they get shipped from their warehouse, or yep, from their warehouse. But yeah, every single smart pot is hand sewn here. But where our quality is really different from everybody else's is our materials. Our thread is marine grade thread, so it's UV protectant. So yes, there is a big difference. Thank you to Lake for pointing that out.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about things to grow that are easy to put into containers, such as smart pot. I'm pretty much always going to be talking smart pots because that's quite literally almost the only container that I grow in. Yeah, especially outdoors. I will say I am guilty of having a couple indoors of regular, but even then, like I have smart pots back here too. So yeah, but outside I have like only smart pots and like traditional raised beds and things like that. So I will grow in nothing else besides that. It's night and day difference. So greens, as I will pop into, especially right now. I know it's going to be like 104 here today in Oklahoma. So it's kind of funny that I'm talking about planting greens, but believe it or not, like the time is going to be coming here within like a few weeks.
Hey, I always found it interesting. I mean, I learned a cool fact during all these shows that they grow lettuce in like Arizona, and it's just like
Yeah.
that's pretty insane. But I mean, you can do it, and if you are dedicated enough, you can actually grow it. I mean, year round. We just don't because it's not the easiest thing to do. But I mean, most of our lettuce is grown in, I mean, Arizona, which is insane.
Hey, there are very good specific variety. Like Park Seed carries several like heat tolerant varieties of lettuce that are amazing for the heat. And I grew through I think July this year of
Wow.
greens. They were doing amazing. I had like the Summer Glory blend and Super Jericho and Red Sails and Sandy. Those were the four that I always like. Those are my four heat tolerant lettuces that I always grow. But I mean, these are just, yeah. Greens are super simple. I will forever, if you are a beginner or busy and you just want to toss out some seeds, toss out some like lettuce seeds. Spinach is a little bit more to get them to germinate, but as long as you keep them just a little bit moist, just a little bit of love in the first couple days, then you're good to go. Now your hands off and it's easy for you. But yes, I mean, pretty much any green, I'm gonna say you can grow essentially in a smart pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the summer, it is hard to keep them from bolting, but yep, right here, it's called out shade. I grow a lot of so the lettuce that I had that lasted through July here in Oklahoma, it was amazing, but I had it underneath a arch trellis that I had. And on one side, I had a tomato growing and it was like arching over it. So, I mean, this lettuce was getting quite a bit of shade and it was already established. So it's going to be, yeah. So it got a lot of afternoon shade and just did a lot better that way.
Yeah, and if you're having extra trouble, I mean, what they do in a lot of nurseries is that like after like midday mist on top, and it's purely just to cool down the plants when that hottest time. So like literally like right now, And this is where it comes, depends how dedicated you are, because you have to be there. But the hottest time, just go out there and just do like an overhead mist of all your foliage, and that helps tremendously bring down the temperature. That's what a lot of large, growers do to keep that temperature down.
Yep. Yeah. Or, I mean, you can always grow them indoors too. I mean, greens are something you can grow indoors all year long. So,
Yeah.
and in all sort of shapes and sizes of containers. Okay. This one, like, I had to be like broad because I was like, there's so many different legumes. Like, I don't want to have like a slide for every single legume that there is. But honestly, like all of these you can plant in, and I have planted all of these in smart pots before. I've done the just regular like bush beans. I've grown pole beans by having the pot up against a trellis. I've done garbanzo beans before in them. I've done peas in them. Like all of those, they do amazing in containers too. They don't need a whole lot of root structure. In fact, like, I mean, they're helping the soil because they're bringing in nitrogen from the air into the roots, and they're helping boost that soil for what you plant in there next. So I'm a huge fan of planting any sort of legumes in containers. It'll help in a lot of ways. You get an amazing harvest, plus you get your soil taken care of too.
Yeah, I really loved the bush plant that I did one time. It was just like super lazy for me. I mean, I literally just, I watered it, I nurtured it, and then end of the season, I kind of just, it just died, and that was perfect. I just went in and picked in all the beans after the whole plant was dead. So it was really, really simple.
Well, I mean, yeah, bush beans are one that, I mean, it's typically a one and done. Sometimes I get more, but yeah. Um, I yes,
It
like
was
I
a nice plant to look at, while it grew, and then I just knew it, at the end of it, it's just gonna die, and I'm gonna be able to eat it.
said. Um, herbs again are something that is incredibly simple to grow. In fact, a lot of people will kill herbs with too much love. So put your herbs into a container. Yeah, are you guilty of it?
For sure, yes. I mean, I think we've all done it. I mean,
Oh
you
yeah.
go to like the grocery store
Oh,
and like you buy like the really nice pot of basil, and then you just don't want it to like, die. And as a beginner, I set it on a windowsill, and you think that you want it to always be moist, and then it just dies. So you love it to death.
yeah, yeah, it is so true. Yeah, but that, I mean, truly, like herbs are like they don't love. Like just leave them alone. Give them like a water every like week or so. Like I let them completely dry out and then I go water them. And I just go through that over and over. Um, and they're very simple to grow. I mean, I'm talking things like rosemary, perfect in containers, lavender, thyme, oregano, sage. I mean, the sky's the limit here on all of it, but they will grow incredible in containers. Like absolutely.
Also, Carrie, I definitely have to tell on myself. Last night we made a margarita pizza on the smoker, and at the very end, I wanted basil on top, and I didn't have any at home, so I had to order a little container of it. It
Oh
was, I
man.
mean, $3, and I'm sure with taxes probably like $4, but like, and as I was ordering it, I'm like, dang, like the inner gardener in me is literally killing myself, because, and then when I got it, I mean, it was almost bland. You don't get that same flavor, and just the cost would have been, I would probably get a couple of seed packets had I just ordered the seeds. But yeah, the cost of these herbs, I don't know why. I mean, it's just, it's some play that they've done on us, making it seem like they're super hard to grow. But herbs are some of the easiest and cheapest things to grow. We all should definitely have some herbs growing indoors for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Edvin, that's like more expensive than a package of like 100 seeds of basil from.
I probably could have started a basil farm and a basil business with the $4 that I spent on this little packet. Trust me, I know. I was fully aware. So
I know it's those type of things that like because it happens to me sometimes too, and I'm always just like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Buyer's remorse off of
Yeah.
basil
Well,
for
and it's
sure.
crazy the things that we did like before we started gardening too, like because we would do that. And same with greens and stuff too. Like I would go buy like an entire thing of like organic spinach or something like that. And it would be like $6 for this box. And then like I would heat maybe half of it and then the other half would go bad. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, yeah.
Grow your own.
Yep. Okay, root crops. So this is something that people always think that they cannot put into containers, but you absolutely can. 100%. Even full-grown carrots I plant in my smart pots. I mean, they won't like, I mean, just look at the size of your smart pot that you have and make sure you have plenty of space for it to grow lengthwise, but pretty much everything that I plant, like there's plenty of space for root crops in there. So,
Hey, I mean, I accidentally grew very large um some of these, and it was, and I had asked, Carrie, I was like, hey Carrie, like those radish microgreen seeds, like can you
mhm,
can you overgrow them and
I
grow them
remember
into
that.
maturity? And she was like, yes. And as I was looking as my round raised bed of, very large radishes, and I was like, okay, because that's what I did. I overgrew a bunch of radishes that had taken to a Girl Scout event, and now we have very large radishes growing. So if you want some radishes, can start with the microgreens and you overgrow them into full size radishes. So little did I know.
Okay, and then I had to include some of the like amazing flowers too, because I know not everybody, whenever they're talking about gardening, is talking about growing food. And I mean, even though I feel like calendula is kind of on the line because it is edible also. So it's a good introduction into flowers, right? Uh, I love calendula. It's gorgeous, amazing. Plus, it's edible. Perfect for a container. Like it's a very small, compact plant. It's not large by any means at all. And it's something that again, it doesn't take a whole lot of care at all. So if you just give it water every once in a while, like leave it alone. I mean, it's probably one of the easiest flowers to grow that I've grown here. And it even like it is supposed to be a cool season flower, but I grow it through the summer sometimes too, and it hangs on and then it comes back in the fall and it's just like, yes. I am a huge fan. Yes. It is a medicinal plant, so definitely. And it attracts all sorts of beneficials. I know. I know. Everybody should be growing calendula. Edvin, you need to grow calendula.
I know Carrie's been trying to get me like on like the flower trend. She's tried many times, and I don't know what it is with flowers in me. I just haven't gotten it down yet, but I will eventually.
You've got to do calendula. Do this one.
Added Trust me, I've added it to the list.
And then, so let's talk about snapdragons too, because this is something else that I know they are quite larger, and people always think that they can't put something like snapdragons in a container, but you absolutely can. And they like the fall and the cool temperatures too. So it is something that you can be planting right now. And so I definitely had to make sure that I included. And so I know that there are snapdragons that are quite a bit tall, like that are pretty large, but they will do really well in a container. They're something that loves the container growing.
Yeah, I think I'll for sure be adding snapdragons to my fall list because this is one where like, I mean, I'm gonna tell myself again, I do buy starts of these and I transplant them in, and these are just, I don't think they're just like the funnest looking flowers. Like, I don't know, they're just
Are.
super amazing. I know there's so many varieties. I can't imagine how many varieties you guys have at Park Seed. So I already know after this, I'm probably gonna be snooping around and checking out what you guys have for snapdragons.
Yes, there's so many. Oh my gosh. There's a circus clown snapdragon that
Circus clown
is
snapdragon.
like one of my favorites. It's like all sorts of different colors. That's why I like it. Like it's like almost like a rainbow. Like it's just so fun. But yeah, there's so many different varieties that Parkseed carries. It's so hard to.
Do you know like roughly about like maturity? So like should we start planting these now or like for like a fall type of, like I'm thinking like for like Halloween, outdoor setting.
I know who will know this question, who will know this answer. Here we go. Planting, it says in September
Oh, nice.
for us here. And
Which is coming literally 1 month away, actually. It
I
is,
know, believe it or
yeah.
not. So get your seeds ready to go and get some snapdragons in. Yes. I'm definitely going to be. Love it. And then a few other flowers too. I know everybody always talks about pansies and violas too for the fall, but again, you can't have a easier container flower than pansies and violas. They were seriously like bred and made for that, even like hanging baskets and containers and all sorts of things. They're small, compact flowers, perfect for containers. They don't need a whole lot too. Again, the hardest part is just germinating them if you're growing them from seed. Make sure whenever you are germinating them, you're germinating them in the dark. I actually made that mistake myself last year whenever I started them. I was trying to germinate them under grow lights and I was like, why is none of these coming up? But yeah, so see, everybody makes mistakes. And the big thing is like, I'm always learning. Everybody's always learning. And gardening is one of those things. Like you can't
We
know it.
just uh we just wait for you to make the mistake and then learn from you.
Well, I'm happy to share all of my mistakes with you guys. And then, of course, I had to put in dianthus too, because especially the perennial dianthus, I typically don't grow a whole lot of the annual dianthus just because why? If they're just going to die. For me, I'm like, I'm just going to get the perennial ones that are going to keep coming back for me every year. So I always get the perennial dianthus. They do amazing. And once they're set, like I plant them in the cool, like in either early, like spring or fall, and they will go all summer too for me. And yeah, I love the perennial dianthus. They're great containers again. Um, they'll just take up your container, the size, and then they'll do great. So yeah, very easy plants. Now I had to throw in some fun ones too, and unique things that you can put in containers and that are easy, especially things like strawberries. I'm going to put out there. And the fall, you can plant and establish your strawberries. And in the spring, when they come up, you'll get strawberries. It's amazing. Like it just works. And containers, like I've had here, let's see. Let's see if I can find a good picture. Well, like this size of them, like I have like these round raised beds and I just put a whole bunch of like strawberries in there, but you can honestly grow them in any size container. Strawberries are probably one of the easiest berries to grow, but I mean, that being said, like goji berries are super simple. Even blueberries, but the trick with blueberries is you need to make sure that you have acidic soil before you get them planted. And I mean, it's super easy to do. There's at Park Seed, they carry this soil acidifier. So you just follow the directions on the back of the bag, add how much ever to what size pot you have. Like, you just mix it in just like fertilizer. That's all you need to do. So yeah, I definitely recommend trying your hand at berries because again, it's something that will live for you season after season and keep producing for you. They don't require a whole lot of care. They're great for busy gardeners.
Yeah, I mean, kind of especially on the strawberries, and I'm seeing kind of like in like the store, I feel like they're kind of like pushing like they're like some exotic or super hard plant to grow. They're really not. And once you get a hang of it, they grow like a weed. But if you're somebody who's like in like a who's like in a balcony or just like in an apartment, definitely try strawberries in a hanging basket. They're super easy to do. And like Carrie said, I mean, you can find different varieties in Park Seed. They're not hard to do at all, and they're just super fun. Once you see a fresh strawberry growing, you pick that right off. I mean, you'll be hooked for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably one of the most fun things that I grow in containers and the most rewarding. Um, and figs. So believe it or not, like you can grow, like Edvin was talking earlier, you can grow small fruit trees, you can grow trees and things like that in containers in these smart pots, and they do amazing. I had a fig tree, I've had cherry trees, I've had all that, but I will say fig is probably one of the easiest that you can put into a container. And just get one of the smaller varieties, and I mean, it's going to grow until it's done. I mean, it's gonna do really good. I've never had any issues with them in smart pots before. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we have one growing here. It's like 11 years old at this point. We just have it sitting outside just because it's one of our test smart pots. But every year, it comes back, and Kurt goes out there and he pulls at least one, two couple figs off every year. So, and they're super sweet. So, fig tree is definitely one of those really fun ones. Just it's so good to eat.
Yeah, so the Casey was asking what size for a fig tree. So I would recommend doing one of the larger sizes. Typically with those ones, I was doing things like, like 20 gallons is ideally what you want, but you could probably get away with doing like a 15 too. Um, Typically, I just always try to go with the largest because that always is the safest for making mistakes and all of that. But yeah,
But go Definitely go with the largest that you're comfortably able to fill with good quality soil.
yeah,
You don't want a large container that you're gonna have struggle to fill, or you're gonna have to fill compromise and fill with just cheaper soil. Definitely go with something that's gonna fit with the plant that you have, that you're able to fill with good quality soil, and then kind of step up as you can. And I'm not really a big fan. Some people like to say, fill with wood, or just like cheaper stuff on the bottom. Anything you put in your smart pot will become available to your plant. So good quality soil is the number one thing for that.
yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, and also too, like think about, are you within the zone where it's safe to leave it outside all year long? And if it's not, you'd have to be like way up north for fig not to be good. But I know some of you guys are. But also consider too, is this a size that I can move if I need to move it like indoors, or if I need to move it somewhere? Because I do see Yolanda right here was asking, what about a lemon tree? Yeah, absolutely. I've had lemon trees, lime trees, all of that in large smart pots too. And those ones, again, I will just say most of the country can't have these out all year long. So definitely keep that in mind of a way to transport it indoors and outdoors. And putting it in a smart pot with handles is like the best way to handle that. But again, it does get very heavy the larger you go. So just keep it in mind, like a 15 or 20. I mean, they even have 25-gallon, but again, like they're going to get heavier as you get bigger too. So go with what you're comfortably able to move as well.
If you have access to like a dolly makes moving around
Yeah.
super easy. So if you have a dolly, I wouldn't be afraid to move around like up to like a 30-gallon. You could do a dolly would make it very easy. There's also a lot of companies who are coming out with like casters, like wheels that you can put under like traditionally like a nice decorative pot. You can also use those for the smart pots. They work great for that. But definitely on the lemon and lime tree, if you're in an area where we can't, and this be for the most of the U.S. where you can't keep them year round, definitely look for like the dwarf varieties. The dwarf varieties, they stay a lot smaller, and then they fruit a lot quicker as well. The dwarf is a lot better to keep in a container than just like a normal size would as well.
And honestly, like just a few mistakes. Like I think we kind of covered a lot of it in the beginning with like soil. I mean, soil is probably like the number one thing that you just need to make sure that you have good, high quality soil to begin with, because that's probably the biggest mistake that I see people making with containers. Um, Again, I'm going to throw in not using the smart pot and getting one of the cheaper knockoffs from Amazon or wherever, Temu. I don't know, I'll call them yeah, just having a good high quality beginning is important. So the container that you are growing them in and the soil that you're growing in will help make your growing a million times better.
Yeah. For me, I think, people going too large too fast is such a, common mistake. Definitely try, especially if you're a new gardener, try to stay as small as you can. And also maybe like that happy medium. If you've never grown before, growing a tomato in a 3 gallon is possible, but you might have a little bit more fun and a much better time in like a 5, 7, or 10 gallon, just because you have more nutrients available for your plant. You have a little bit more time to react if you notice your plant, something going wrong. Maybe it has, a nutrient deficiency. With a larger area, you have a little bit more to play. So newer gardeners try to stay in like 5, 7, 10 gallon. You can do the smaller, but like the kitchen mini tomatoes, to be honest, there's just you have to react a lot quicker in those sizes. So if you're a new gardener, smaller, and then kind of go up to that larger garden.
And I will say too, if you don't know what size that you should be growing in, like in here, there is a recommended like gallon container size for the full size plant. So that way, like, and just keep in mind, like, so this is for snapdragons right here. If you go over here to like tomatoes, it will show you what size you should be using too. So like this recommends like maybe you should do a 20 gallon just because like it's always going to be safer to err on the side of caution and do the larger, but there's a really great recommended container size in there too for you. So definitely check that out in the Seed to Spoon app.
2 questions, Carrie, I want to answer really quick. Great Martin just had one. So never thought about the fold over on the smart pot. Is there a reason to have them like that? We're actually just having a conversation about that. So that little fold there, it actually does 2 things. One, it actually, personally, I think it looks better. Kind of gives it like the rim, just more of like a natural pot look. But it also helps keep your sides taut. And actually, when you're filling your smart pot, if you actually give that fold, it actually makes it a little bit easier to keep the plant, the pot open. So just something. I don't know, Carrie, why do you specifically do your fold?
So honestly, I think on these ones, because I don't have handles on every single one of mine. So I think, and it makes it easier for me to pick them up and move them if I have like a little fold like that. Because most all of mine have handles on them, but like not all of them, especially the smaller ones. So I mean, there's that, and then sometimes it's a thing where like I'm growing something that I'm going to be adding more soil on top. So kind of like, especially potatoes, I do this. Like I roll them half the way down. Whenever I plant potatoes. And then as they grow, I start adding more soil and I start unrolling it more and more. So, I mean, there's a couple different reasons why I do it too, but yeah.
Also, Malia from Tennessee had a question about our Smart Pot milk crate liners and asking what you can grow well in them. Little known fact, actually, so in Boston, at Fenway Park, they actually have a rooftop garden. I think it's like a 5,000 square foot rooftop garden. So if you're ever bored, look up Fenway Farms. And they actually do a whole rooftop garden on just our milk crate liners, and they actually grow all their concession veggies. So they actually grow lettuces, they grow onions, they grow just about everything in our milk crate liners. And what a milk crate liner is just a liner that goes over a milk crate, and it turns it into 12 by 12 by 12 growing space. So you can grow literally everything we talked about today. You can grow in that area. You could even do like a patio-sized tomato in there. So if you have milk crates laying around or you have a good source of them, that's another great way to get growing. You can put them all together and kind of have your own little garden put together.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. But yes, absolutely. Everything that we talked about today would be perfect to plant in that, I think. Awesome. Well, we are coming to the end of today. You know what? I completely forgot to mention one thing too, really quick. I'm going to paste this link into the live stream here. If you guys like recipe ideas, make sure you enter into this. So Park Seed and Seed to Spoon, we're doing a joint giveaway too for weekly giveaways for entering in some fun recipes and things like that. Yeah, so make sure you check that out. Submit a recipe, and we're doing weekly giveaways plus a grand prize winner. So again, if you guys want a subscription to the app, some Park Seed seeds, definitely enter in. All you need to do is just submit a recipe. So super easy. And then also, so I want to mention too, if you have a question and we didn't get to it, I'm sorry. Hopefully I tried to pull up questions as we got them, but I do want to point out Growbot and the Seed to Spoon app. So if you guys do have questions like after the fact or anything like that, pop into here. You can ask text questions to Growbot even with the free version. But if you have the premium version, you can send Growbot some pictures over here and ask any sort of questions that you might be having. So awesome. Let's go ahead and do the giveaway.
Drum roll.
Yes, so we're going to be giving away a free 1-year premium Seed to Spoon app subscription, along with the 3-pack, I think you said, of 15-gallon Smart Pots. It's exciting. And like I said, too, if you are in there and you don't win today, as soon as this posts up, just go back into it and comment in there that you want to win. And I will do another giveaway next week, same time, same place. So right here, congratulations to Jacqueline Whitmore. So send me an email there at info@seedtospoon.net and get y'all hooked up with your goodies. Yay!
Congrats.
Yes. And I'm live like every Tuesday, same time, same place. I'm always here chatting gardening. But like I said, if you guys please join in and have fun. Let's see. Oh, yes. Awesome. Always looking for new recipes. So we're also going to be like sharing out some recipes, like the winners and all of that. And the chance to get your recipe entered into the Seed to Spoon app too, which is awesome. I love it. Yes, I'm always looking for new gardening recipes because in the Seed to Spoon app, we do have, I will pull up my favorite plant to make food from. We do have this recipes tab right here that pulls up all sorts of recipes and ways that you can make food. But in this giveaway to this contest that we're doing that I posted right here, this link right here, you have the chance to enter it. So it will go into the Seed to Spoon app. So
nice.
It's exciting. So okay.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining today. And thank you, Edvin, for joining us today. It was a fun one.
Thank you for having me. Always happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, I will see you all hopefully next week. Same time, same place. See you, everybody.